Hi, it's Melissa here, and welcome to my first ever series, which is Child Free Friday. This means that I won't be scrapping any photos of my children or anyone else's children on these days. So, what I'm showing you here is an album that I've been creating of some wedding photos. We got married nearly 12 years ago, and we had disposable cameras back in the day on the tables, and we let the guests take photos. So, I got them printed out, and of course, they weren't digital, so I had absolutely no idea what I was going to get back. And it was a really awesome surprise to see some fantastic photos. So, I've been working on this album for a while now, and here I'm just showing you a stack of photos that I've got to scrap. And I haven't made anything for this album for a very long time, so I thought now that I'm doing Child Free Friday, what perfect place to start then with my informal wedding album. So I had started to film, and then I had a problem with my camera. So what you've missed is me gluing down some paper on the sides, cutting those two frames and sticking them down, and of course putting that mint gelato in the background. That gelato looks blue, but it's actually a minty green colour. So I knew that I wanted to have my photo flush underneath those layered papers, and I'm using up scraps from my April hip kit, and I always find with the end of a kit it's either challenging or it's easy to create a layout. And because this kit is very girly, I wanted to do this photo of my husband and his best man and groomsmen, so it was a bit more challenging to use up pieces of paper that weren't girly. So I've been struggling to use these Amy Tangerine frames, and I think I've got about 4 or 5 left, and I knew that I wanted to use 2 on this layout, so I've just cut, you didn't see it because I didn't show it, but I cut that one that says remember this, I cut a piece off it, and I've put that under my photo, and I've used the other one at the top so I can have a cluster of embellishments up there. And here I'm wanting to bring in the piece that I've cut off of that mustard coloured one, and because the photo is flush on the right edge and these frames are adding dimension on the left, I wanted to add some more dimension to help pop my photo up, so I'm using that piece there. I don't like throwing anything away, so it's always good to get it onto a page. I'm working on both areas of the layout at the same time, trying to think about what will go where. And here I'm using my notebook edge punch just to add a little bit more interest to that piece of paper that's going to sit underneath the photo. It's really funny looking back at these photos because it is nearly 12 years ago, and it is amazing how much you actually change in 12 years. So they look really, really young there, pretty cute. They look like boys, and now I guess they're all men. So I had a bit of trouble with placing that piece under there, and I see that it's not straight, and that bothers me because of all the straight edges on this layout. So I decided to put some tape on top and underneath the paper, and that will help keep it in position. And I've ruffled the edges of that paper a bit to make it look more authentic, like it has been ripped out of a notebook. So I also wanted to use this piece that I've cut off, and so I'm just popping it up here. And I'm using some really, really small circular pop dots. I can't remember where I got these, but they are really good for little areas like this, and the reason I need to pop it up is because it's being layered over another piece of frame. So they work really well. I had to cut the edge of one of them, but the other two fit, and I've used some Tombow to help hold that as well. And I always like to dry off any area of Tombow that shows, because you can, when it dries, you can slightly see it. So now that I have got all the dimension that I want to add with those frames, I need to lift my photo up, and so I'm putting some pop dots just in strategically positioned places under the photo. I'm not worried that the photo is flat where it's flush against those two pieces of paper, but I do want to lift it underneath the frame. So I've had to add a bit of glue to one of those dots because of the gelato. I find that things don't stick as well if you've got mixed media underneath. And I'm about to outline around the edge. I'm really loving that as a framing technique at the moment, but find that this American Crafts cardstock is a little bit over 12 inches, so I've just trimmed that off with my trimmer. And here I go with outlining. I'm not into perfection when it comes to outlining, and so it doesn't bother me if it's not perfect. I mean, it's never going to be perfect. If I want it to be perfect, I'd use my ruler. So I'm happy with how that's looking. Always find male or masculine layouts a bit more challenging, especially ones that are not children. So it's just a case of going through the bits and pieces that I've got and working out what looks best. I love that paper and I love the sentiments that are all over it, so I did think about calling the layout Fun Together, but I knew that I wanted to use up some of these, I think the Amy Tangerine thickers, and that gold one with Friends is perfect because that's what these guys are. But I still wanted to use that Fun Together, so you're going to see that I'm going to cut it down, and I don't want to cover anyone's face. That's my husband at the front. So I thought it could be a good subtitle, Friends Together Fun. And it works well because that green frame at the top has got fun, fun, fun. And yes, I am using green after declaring my, I wouldn't say hate, I'd say dislike for green, but I think green works really well with masculine pages. So now I'm just looking at that, excuse me, those stickers and seeing if there's anything else that I can add to my layout, because I do want to put some more gold in. And I did think about using that epoxy sticker and the round wood veneer circle, but they're a little bit too girly for my liking and they're not going to work on this page. So I've got that squiggle and I have put that down the bottom underneath the Remember This frame. Now these stickers are fantastic. I know I've been declaring my love for them in every layout that I've made with my hip kit, and I just wanted to find two that had sentiments that would go with this, so I've got two of them down. What you can't see is the huge giant mess on either side of the layout. So just looking to see if there's anything else I can add from those stickers, and there's not. Some of the phrases are not really, well, they're not going to work with a layout about a guy and his friends. And I had cut that out ages ago, and so it was time to get it onto a layout. And I know that I want to machine stitch through the middle of it, so I used my ruler just to put a crease and to lift it up, and just a little bit of double-sided tape to hold it down, and then off camera at the end I'll add my stitching. I also add some stitching down the side on those two pieces of paper. I wanted to use this little embellished layered flag, I guess it is, and as I've done with the other ones, I've taken off the pop dot from the back because I'm finding the dimension enough, especially when that's layered over that chipboard frame. And the frame had fun, 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 so I've layered the hello over two of the fun, so it says hello fun. And then I want to, excuse me, bring some gold up to the top, so I've added a couple of those, I guess those chevrons. Now I'm just adding my journaling, and I'm just saying that these guys don't see each other that often, but whenever they do, they always have such an awesome time. So at this point the layout's pretty much done. Now I'm just adding my India ink which I haven't been doing lately, but on some layouts it definitely needs it, and I think it ties together the fabric on that hello tag, and also the outlining, which I've done in black around the edge. Now these enamel dots didn't come in the kit, they came in a previous hip kit, but I've been trying to use them up, so I place them in twos, and I actually use up the rest of the pack on this one, which is great. Leave me a comment and let me know what you think of my new series, the first series. The reason I am doing this series is because I printed off a whole lot of photos, and 99.9% of them were my children, and I think it's important to have me, my husband, and just general things in our life and my scrapbooks as well. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye.